good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Astana in Kazakhstan. You can kind of see the name there. Now you might be wondering, first of all, why it says Nur Sultan Astana instead of just Astana. Well, the city here has gone through many name changes, which we'll talk about in the history section. My atlas here was published in 2021, which actually I have product links that pop up in the corner here, right about here, if you want to buy your own copy, and I get a little cut that helps benefit my channel, if you're so inclined. But the name of the city was changed back to Astana in 2022. So it still says Nur Sultan. It still says Nur Sultan Qasim here, which is like all blessed, I guess, in Kazakh. So just know that it is not called that anymore. But it was called that when this book was published a few years ago. When the new edition comes out, it'll be all corrected. Astana is the capital of Kazakhstan. Astana means capital city. The Ishim River flows through the city, and there are lots of neat sights to see in Astana. Believe me, you'll want to stick around for the Google Earth portion, because the city is absolutely gorgeous. My two favorite sites, besides the National Museum, are the Bayterik, which is a big observation tower. Kind of gives me like Space Needle in Seattle vibes, but it looks like the trophy they give out for the FIFA World Cup. It's like very tall and rounded at the top. Also, the world's largest tent is located in Astana, and it's a big expo center. We'll take a look at it on Google Earth. There's not much else to show you geography-wise. There is a big old neat lake at the south of the international airport called Ozero Meybalik, and I think that's what this is supposed to be. I'm not sure, but it's just to the south of the city. So since it's a city, there's not much geography to mention. It's just right here. I've done videos on the Akmola region, which surrounds it entirely. Hopefully a little thing will pop up over there that will give you a link to my Kazakhstan playlist, because I've done Aktobe and Almaty as well, and Atiro, right? Have we done Atiro yet? We've not got to Atiro yet. That'll be in a couple of weeks, so stay tuned. So let's get into the history. The earliest known settlement that we know of that would have occurred here was known as Bozok. It was a Silk Road stopover settlement that existed between the 12th and the 14th centuries, in like the twilight years of the Silk Road, before, overseas trade became much easier than overland trade. But it really wasn't anything at all until 1824, when the Russians built an outpost here, and they called it Akmolinsk, like Akmola, Akmolinsk. And it slowly grew until it became an official settlement in 1868. But then it really didn't become much of anything other than a small little settlement until World War II, when it was used for two things mostly. They built it up for industry, for building whatever that they needed, and also for deporting people, mainly from Eastern Europe, to the region to work, I assume. It was built up even more during the 1950s, during the Soviets' Virgin Lands campaign, which was the concept that was really prominent in Kazakhstan and Ukraine, I want to say. because there's just a lot of empty space in Kazakhstan, so they thought wheat fields as far as the eye can see. Virgin lands, right? Totally untouched. So the area became a center for that. And wheat farms were built around for collectivizing agriculture, which means that everything gets evenly distributed, which is a good practice in theory, right? A lot of communist ideals are good in theory, but when you implement them, they never quite work out, because if you have a bad harvest, nobody eats and everyone starves. And that's just not ideal, right? So that sort of came and went in Kazakhstan. It was built up again during the 1960s. They changed the name to Leningrad, and they started building those Soviet brutalist apartment blocks kind of things. Very grid planned city, very Soviet looking city, building more and more homes to bring in more and more families to work more and more jobs in the city. But then when it really changed was in 1992, about a year after Kazakhstan gained its independence from the Soviet Union. The city was renamed Akmula, and they really started to build it up. A couple years later, in 1997, they decided to move the capital from Almaty to the new name, Astana, capital city. And that's when we see a lot of the beautiful constructions that we have today. They hired an architect from Japan and another one from Britain to construct some of the buildings, to create what looks like Versailles exploded all over the city. It looks like Louis XIV would be like having a heart attack over how gorgeous all of the gardens are, all of the beautiful outdoor spaces, all the buildings. It's absolutely stunning. It looks like a big old dollhouse in a way. It's so gorgeous. We'll take a look at it. But like we were saying earlier, in 2019 the city was renamed to Nur Sultan. And that is because the leader of Kazakhstan from independence to around this time was Nursultan Nazarbayev. Not a great character, one of Putin's besties. A person who put himself before the country, let's say. But he was getting up in years, as many Soviet-era leaders did back then, and he stepped down in 2021, I want to say. Around that time, deep during COVID times, right? And it was in 2022, after a new administration came in, and not a lot of changes had been happening, and people started to protest in the streets here in what was then Nur Sultan, to do away with a lot of the old government, since Nazarbayev was no longer a thing. They wanted him out of the government affairs, and they wanted all of his friends out. So the president, I think he's still president of Kazakhstan, removed all those people, and he changed the city back to Astana. And that's where we are today. It's a lovely city, still expanding, still growing. Kazakhstan's government is still not the greatest. Nursultan Nazarbayev is gone from politics in Kazakhstan. That doesn't mean that all of the corruption is gone. But, I'm also from the United States, so I can't really point fingers at, oh, your government's so corrupt. I mean, pot calling the kettle black, right? It's not nearly as bad as some other countries. We just were in Tajikistan, in Ashgabat a week ago, right? That country's far worse. So it's not the ideal government. It's still very flawed. But it's not the worst. It used to be not great. It's better, but not great. It's slowly improving. Hopefully Kazakhstan's on the up and up. And I think we should head over to the tablet, because I'm so anxious to show you this beautiful, beautiful city. Let's go. So here we are at Astana. let's start off by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. If you're not quite sure where Kazakhstan is, that's okay. Kazakhstan is the largest landlocked country in the world, located in Central Asia. Russia's up here to its north, China's right down here, and all of the other Stan countries are just down here. And as you can see, Kazakhstan's up in the north, just in the very north of the steppes region of Kazakhstan, which in America we would say the plains. Very similar. It's just the steppes are a lot more wide and open than the United States Great Plains. So down here's the little lake. I couldn't really find much about the lake, other than there's a lot of water sports and fishing and stuff here. It's just south of the airport. So let's start south and just work our way up. We're going to start with the Grand Mosque of Astana, which, as you can see, there's still a lot of planning to do, the area around it, but what they do have is absolutely stunning. This looks like candy, right? It looks crunchy. This beautiful outdoor area, all of the gorgeous parks around it, the big minarets. Let's take a look at the slideshow here. See the gorgeous interior. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful outside. It looks edible, right? So pretty inside. All of the beautiful detailings here in the walls and the carpets. Big minarets. Gorgeous gardens. The big wooden doors that very characteristics for big, beautiful mosques like this. The parking garage. And inside is a mini Astana. You can take a tour of miniature Astana inside. A beautiful foggy night there. All of the gorgeous flowers. There's another area there. The gift shop, I think. Very, very beautiful, beautiful structure here. But let's start heading more north, which you can already see, even though these are just like apartment blocks. Like, this is the most beautiful Soviet city I've ever seen. Like, yes, it's that very harsh grid layout, but the buildings are placed just so. It's so detailed. We have another beautiful park down here. This is another museum, but I'm going to show you a better museum. Feel free to take the time to look at it yourself. This gorgeous botanical garden. There's so much to see here. Look, in this corner, a maze. That's fun, a hedge maze. We've got the sports area over there, the little lake. Over here's the greenhouse. Some more gardens here. World-class botanic, what does that say? Botanic something. The children's play area over here. Gorgeous, a big, beautiful fountain here. And then in the center, it looks like a big lotus flower, doesn't it? We're going to look at this slideshow for a little bit. See some of these pretty flowers. There's the greenhouse, the river by the city. Looks like the place where you run track. The lovely fountains there in the lake. Inside the greenhouse. Just beautifully planned garden. Look at this big fountain. Very cool. Swans. It is gorgeous. We start heading a little more north here, and we enter this strip. Can you see? Is this not gorgeous? Does this remind you of like Versailles? Like, the presidential palace is right here. That's where the president lives. Big beautiful gardens there as well. Gorgeous courtyards, all the government buildings around it. You have this long, beautiful promenade of parks. And right here in the middle is the Botanical. Which, doesn't this look like the World Cup trophy a little bit? But it is an observation tower. You go up to the top and you can see all the beautiful views of the city from way up high. Gorgeous little complex here. Now I was looking at this. Let me see if I can bring it closer to show you. It's little signatories from people representing different religions, from what I can tell. From what I can tell. Very neat. Up at the very top. It's just a very beautiful tower. See, it reminds me of the Space Needle a lot for some reason. I think that's because it's an observation tower too. Even though it doesn't look at all like the Space Needle, it just gives me that energy, like it's solely a place for you to come and enjoy. And that's all. It's very simple. Some energy mascots there. Very cute. Let's see, we head further down this gorgeous promenade. Isn't this beautiful? Nurzul Boulevard. It ends in this gorgeous square, which looks maybe like apartments or shopping. I love how the road cuts through it. We have another gorgeous garden called Lover's Park. And then we have this. This is the world's largest tent. I wonder if I can pull up the slideshow for it. Probably not. I still have all the Guwahati, Assam state things here. But, make it go away there. It's really neat inside. Not essential to show you, but really neat. You can see the actual city where people actually live. There's another gorgeous park complex here, little international parks. Love it. And then we cross the river. And we have even more beautiful parks. Look at that little track area there. This is my favorite part right here. Look at this. It's a bird. It's a phoenix, it says. That's beautifully designed. Beautifully, beautifully designed. And it's flying straight towards, isn't this gorgeous? The Palace of Peace and Reconciliation. Which this was designed by the British architect. I did not write down his name. I wrote down the name of the Japanese architect, but I did not get a chance to see it. But you can tell there's something about the gardens that's very Japanese. So it looks like this place is used as a theater, concert hall, exhibition hall, art center, promoting peace, which I am a big fan of. I am all for that. Very neat. Big beautiful gardens all around it. But over here, oops, I think it's over here, yep. This is the National Museum of Kazakhstan. And it has the most famous relic in Kazakhstan. It is the King Tut of Kazakhstan. And that is a golden man. Let's go see him. Beautiful exterior. Here's Golden Man. So Golden Man was found inside of a tomb. This is his armor. Obviously, he was all skeletal, right? And it's the most intact golden Scythian armor that's been found. This is not the real Golden Man. This is a replica. Golden Man's actually in Kazakhstan's treasury, all locked up safe. What do you see his big hat? He's all locked up safe in case, the museum gets looted somehow. We don't want him stolen and melted down or anything. So it's not the real Golden Man, but it's an exact replica. You can see some Scythian warriors there and some more incredible armor here. I'll show you my favorite one. They have a T-Rex. Awesome. Some incredible ethnic clothes. Beautiful lights there. Neat little stuff. Look at this. This looks like I wonder how old this is because this looks very modern, right? It's giving like oh, what's his name? With the mustache, the melting clocks. Oh, I'm blanking. You know who I mean. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's like that. It's very modern, but I wonder if it's ancient. Salvador Dali. There we go. Salvador Dali. Some more beautiful armor here. Some more decked out horses. This is my favorite. Look at that. Look at the colors. That's an incredible costume. I would wear this. That's awesome. And then there's some, maybe it is modern art, because that's definitely modern art. But I don't know, that other piece looked ancient. Here's the inside of a yurt here. Like bisected. It looked ancient, but like this looks ancient. But I wonder how old it is. Beautiful painting there. Maybe a Genghis Khan moment happening there. But there are many other beautiful little areas of the city. There's another gorgeous mosque. More incredible high-rises. I would highly encourage you to play around this city, because I probably played around Astana for like 2 hours looking at all the sites. Those are just some of my favorites. It's really unfortunate that I can't take you inside the tent, that there's nothing to tap on. So how about this? Give me a second. Alright, I had to Google what it's called. Shatyr Entertainment Center. I could not remember the name. So we can see the slideshow inside. Look at this. Very, very cool. I'll close out the video here. Look at that. Thank you so much for watching. Look how huge it is inside. Levels and levels of like shopping. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing. This is an ongoing series on my channel. Ooh. And next, we are going to be heading over to Azerbaijan. We're going to head over to the Caspian Sea coast, which is just a very lovely corner of the world. So be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. Kazakhstan. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a good